Good morning, everybody. Maundy, Thursday up on God's Hill, the Thursday in Holy Week. Maundy comes from an old word meaning commandment. Jesus commands his disciples to love one another as he has loved them. Mark's gospel tells us that in chapter 14, verses 12 to, the last verse of 14, which is 72, that a lot happens on Maundy, Thursday. The institution of the Last Supper. Jesus predicts the denial of Peter. They go to the Garden of Gethsemane to pray. The crowds come. The soldiers come and arrest Jesus, taking him to the Sanhedrin for a trial, and Peter's denial of Jesus. And that's all Thursday. Thursday today into the early morning hours. And then tomorrow will be the trial before Pontius Pilate and the crucifixion itself. What I'm thinking about and what I'd like you to wrestle with, there's almost too much here to get a good handle on. It doesn't really lend itself to a 4-minute daily spirit lift. But there is one thing that I would leave you with that I think is really important here. And that is from verse 12 on Maundy, Thursday, to Jesus' arrest and start of the trial. There are paradoxical points. And what I mean by that is there's good here. The Last Supper becomes a really important part of the whole life of Christians. And that's something that we would all imitate as followers of Jesus. And then the denial of Peter is on the heels of that. So conflict after the institution of a beautiful moment, a sacrament, what we in the church call a sacrament, the Lord's Supper. The sacrament is a visible sign done at the command of Jesus when Jesus says, take and eat, take and drink. That's what a sacrament is. The other in Protestant churches is baptism, a visible sign of Jesus' command. But in a very real way, we have another sacrament here. Right here in the Garden of Gethsemane, Jesus commands the disciples to watch him pray, and he goes off by himself to pray, and they fall asleep. But you could sort of make a argument that that's a sacrament, prayer, a kind of sacrament. Jesus commands the disciples to do it, to watch and pray, Peter, James, and John, and they fail. So prayer, we would say, is on the good side of the paradox, the failure on the bad. And then the arrest of Jesus, and then Jesus before the high priests and the trial, and then Peter disowning Jesus. So Mark's gospel on Thursday goes back and forth between high points and low points. And maybe that's what we're called to do as well in our journey. It's easy to find the low points, but is it just as easy to find the sacramental moments? Is it just as easy to find the God moments? Take and eat, do this in remembrance of me. Every time you remember Jesus today, you're in his presence. Every time you pray, you are in imitation of Christ and in imitation of the disciples, however imperfect that imitation was in Jesus' final days. And if we want to be true, whole people, going back and forth is really important. Maybe a better way to think of it is balance. Too much of potassium in the body can make your sodium go out of whack. Too much sodium can make your potassium go out of whack. You end up hospitalized, those sorts of things. There's a kind of equilibrium biologically in us, and maybe there's an equilibrium in our own journey with Jesus. Too much of the sadness, too much of the struggle makes for a non-joyful Christian, but no struggle at all makes for nothing to strive for. Only experiencing a high, that's the problem with an addict, right? Alcohol brings me only to joy, and when I don't get it, it's even worse. So today, on this Thursday in Holy Week, I invite you to sit down with your journey. Maybe grab a journal, maybe grab a piece of paper, and look back on your life and look at those moments that you would call the high points and be thankful for them. But also look at the low points and see where they take you. Because Jesus is there in both those points. Read Mark 14. See where that takes you. And if you do that, I can guarantee you that your Lent will be enriched. Your Easter celebrations this Sunday will be more fruitful. I guarantee you something special will happen. All right, tonight we will be meeting at Denmark Manor for the Maundy Thursday observance, an ecumenical service, meaning there's a lot of churches involved, so we won't be here at Hills, but Hills will be taking part. Denmark Manor, soup is at 6:30. The service starts at 7:30. An association-wide choir. It is going to be very moving, very emotional. I encourage you to be there, and I look forward to seeing you all. Tomorrow night, 7 o'clock here at Emmanuel Church, Good Friday observance, a reading of the Passion with some other bits involved. And then Sunday morning, 6:30, outdoor dawn, and breakfast from 7 to 9:30, and then the high service of Easter, 10:15. Blessings to you all. I will be here with you tomorrow for another Daily Spirit Lift. We'll talk then. I'm thinking about you all and praying for you all. All right. Bye now.